Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Angeli, Elaine. Can you hear me? Can you type into chat box if you can hear me naman? Yan. Hi, Early birds kayo Kamusta? All right, great. So, let's just wait for a few more minutes before mag 4, before we start our Ask Me Anything session today. So, thanks a lot for coming in early. So, mga topic natin later on, no? We'll be talking about um, let me double check na. Baka mali masabi ko. All right. So we'll be talking about email writing, okay? Actual process of writing emails, product launches, automation, images, when to use images sa emails, segmentation, and email service provider, and other stuff. Of course, if we have time, we will get more of the live questions if you have any, okay? All right. So, yeah, can you type in guys sa chat if where are you from just want to get an idea no kung saan tayong lahat. So right now I'm in my home no sa may Binondo. So curious lang, where are you guys from? Tarlac. Yan. How about Elaine and Jelly? Munti. Okay. Cool. Nice. Sige. So I just turn this off first. I'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, I'll just prepare some of the notes. Just wanted to check in for before we start. Okay. All right. Hi, guys. All right. So, so it's about 4. So we're gonna be starting. So just a few house rules. No? So I just like to mention muna, batiin ko muna si Joy, Arthur, of course, Anne and Elaine dito na, Jelly, Carlo, Noreen, Miss Josie, Sai, Rosalinda, Juna, Rowena. Hello, hello. Thank you very much for coming on. So, just like I said earlier, no? Yung what we're gonna do, of course, this is our Ask Me Anything question. So, uunahin natin yung mga nag-send in ng questions early. Okay, those who posted sa events natin and also who sent in their emails. Then, we'll be tackling about email writing, product launch, okay, and automations. Those are the main topics. And meron tayong other topics that covers mga email service provider, should we use images sa emails, and segmentation. All right? So, everyone, are you ready? Ready to go? Type in yes na lang dito sa chat box so you can get started. All right. Sai, let's wait for 5 people to say yes. All right. All right. Sige. Cool. Sige. So I'll just share my screen. Then later on, if you have questions after we go through yung mga earlier questions, mga sent in early, we can still tackle them, okay? Right. Jocelyn, can you try sa lower left-hand side or you could just log in ulit? Baka, I think everyone can hear me naman, no? Right, so let's get started. All right. So try to log out, log back in na lang. Okay? So let me just share my screen. All right. There you go. Okay, so. Right. Cool. So, can you guys see the screen? Where do you get email ideas? Sige, let me check. Let me hear you guys before we get started para... All right, thanks, Carlo. All right. Sige, so I'll be assuming na nakikita nyo lahat, no? Okay. Sige. All right, so where do you get email ideas? This is a good question, no? So this was sent in, I believe this is from Jonah, if I'm not mistaken. So to answer this, no, we have to clarify some things, okay? You have to clarify some things that iba yung, okay, let's focus on the screen now. We need to distinguish between the email topic and yung mga email ideas, okay? So ang tanong niya dito is email ideas, but I want to make this a quick clarification, no? Email topic is really the meat of your email, okay? Kung ano yung gusto mong point na i-explain. It should circle tightly around the problem areas of your audience. So, for example, you can identify 3 to 5 main points of your market and focus on those lang. Okay? So, for example, si Carlo, he's gonna be in yung sa stock market. Yung topic siya would revolve around that topic. Hindi masyado lilihis doon. Okay? Otherwise, hindi siya swak sa market. Okay? So, he could talk about the trend in the stock market, how to do trading, how to do long-term investing, safeguards, to reduce your risk, so on and so forth. So yung mga email topics, doon lang tayo iikot sa pool na yon. By doing that, yung authority natin mabibuild up. Kasi parang top of mind eh. Pag stock si Carlo, right? Kaysa kung kalat tayo. So just wanted to clarify that, no, in terms of the topic. Because madali lang yan, kahit 3 to 5, each topic has subtopics pa na hindi ka maubusan ng pag-uusapan. Okay? Now, I think ang gustong tanongin dito is when it comes to email ideas is that yung angles. Okay? Ano ba yung iba-ibang angles na pwede natin gamitin to deliver an email? Okay? So basically, email angles are the packaging in which you'll deliver this content. Okay? Kasi sa totoo lang, information, it's like medicine, di ba? Na it's good for you, but it can be intimidating too. Right? So kung yung libro, bigyan ka ng 500-page book, nakakatakot naman, di ba? Gusto mong gawing paperweight na lang, ipanghampas sa wag na. Let's not advocate violence. Okay? So So we need to add some flavor. Parang gamot lang, di ba, sa bata. We add some flavor, strawberry, orange, to make it easier to digest, easier to consume. So that's where angles come in, okay? So, of course, kilala nyo naman ako, my preference, of course, are stories, okay? Ang idea dito is to put your audience on a slippery slope. Kumbaga, sa subject line, hindi naman natin sinasabi, oh, benta na agad, right? So, ang goal ng subject line, dito papasok yung slippery slope na concept, no? So, if you can imagine a slippery slope, parang pag bumaba ka, dire-diretso ka bumaba, madulas, kumbaga. So, gusto natin, ganun yung, that's the way our reader feels with our that's the way our readers consume our email. It's like they just slide through the words, okay? So the only role of the subject line is to get the email open, okay? That's the only goal of it. Then the opening line is meant to make the reader read the next line, so on and so forth. Pababa lang, okay? Going down the copy, all right? So it's easier. Don't you notice, no, na when you read something na fictional, for example, Harry Potter, ang bilis mo magbasa, di ba? You can consume a book so much faster compared to a textbook, for example, right? So that's why we want to get bits and pieces of stories and include that in our lessons, in our emails, because it makes consuming your email so much easier, okay? So ano ba yung mga angles na? What are the angles that we can use, okay? So, okay, before that, let me go back muna to the email ideas, okay? So, one of the things that may worry you when we talk about email ideas, if we're going to stick to just 3 to 5 email ideas, top 3 to 5 email topics, okay, wouldn't that be very limiting for us? Well, let's take yoga, for example, okay? Yoga, for example. I have an example here, no? So I'll show this to you. So, for example, yoga, three topics could be inflexible muscles, okay? You're not flexible. Time management, and gear, okay? And under those topics, there are certain subtopics, okay? Tight hamstring, bad back, tight shoulders, time management, managing your time with work and exercise, between taking care of family and exercise, and how to use your weekends properly to maximize your time. Okay, gears, we could talk about yoga mats. Familiar si Carlo dito, his wife is a yogi, okay? Yoga pants and bags, accessories, right? Each one of these can be an email, right? And when people in your, like all these, that's already 9 emails, right? And under those could be subtopics, okay? So you can never really run out of email ideas. Now, in what way can we package them? Okay, what way can we package them? So I'll give you 5 examples, okay, of how we can package them to add flavor to these topics so that it makes them easier to consume. So the 5 are, so let me show some examples. Okay, let me make this easier to read. Can you see that? So 1 is surroundings. Okay, whatever you can see around your house, whatever happens in your immediate environment, those can be ideas for emails. Okay, so you always should be ready to jot down ideas or write it in Evernote or text it to yourself. Okay, because in surroundings, we're always especially at home, we're home like a huge chunk of the time, right? So you can be observant. When you're aware that you're looking for email ideas, may invisible radar antenna that raises up and allows you to attract those ideas. When you're looking for it, it appears, okay? So next one is life events, right? Life events could be graduation, birthdays. Why is this a good source of stories? It's because we meet other people again, right? There's a lot of stories being exchanged. You're in a new environment. Say the wedding is at a place that you've never been to before. So there's a lot of new things you could talk about, right? So that's a nice source. So if you have any event that's coming up, right? Those are prime opportunities to get email ideas, email angles, I mean, right? Then next is news, okay? the good thing about news is, first, everybody, it's the top of mind of everyone. Everybody can relate to news, okay, because it affects everyone. Second, it's always new, okay? It's always new. It's actually in the word news, right? So there's always something fresh to talk about, okay, and it's relevant. Then next is pop culture. Okay, pop culture could be celebrity, sports, anything, any event that's happening in your environment that everybody can relate to. So right now currently there's the World Cup. Okay, so you could use soccer references, football references. If anyone has a concert, if there's any controversy online, you could leverage on that. Okay, and people are looking for things to read about that, and you could piggyback on that trend. Okay. And last advice for you, there's a lot actually. So I don't want to overwhelm you. Okay. You could use trivia or history. Okay. So for example, did you know? That could be an opening line, di ba? Usually pag narinig ko yung did you know, uy, anin, di ba? So you could open up your email with that. Okay. And the reason that people like to find out what's next after hearing did you know is because if they find out something that only a few people know about, it makes them feel smarter and they could pass it along in the future. So that piques people's interest, and that's a good opener for your email. Okay. So everyone good? Everyone good? Is anyone learning something new here? Sa email ideas and email angles. I'd like to give you an example. No? So Jocelyn, thank you. How about the others? Right. Okay. Loisa. Hi, Loisa. I think we met no, sa IBMC meetup. All right. Nice to see you here again. So, all right. So I'll give you an example. Okay. So let me close this off first. I'll go on cam muna. Okay. I prepared an example here. Okay. So talking about surroundings, let's go with the yoga example. Okay. So surroundings, I have a glass of water here. So, tika lang. Para yun yung example natin. Okay. Sabihin natin half full or half empty siya. Okay. So in your email, you could talk about a glass of water that's half full, but others see it as half empty. Then you could talk about yogis. Yogis are people who practice yoga. Yogis getting jealous of how flexible other people are. Even if they've been going to the gym every day for the last 100 days, walang pahinga kahit weekends. So they've improved a lot. But when they see other people more flexible than they are, they still get jealous, okay? Because people see things half empty, okay? And that's when you can pivot to your point, okay? The point is you need to take pictures of yourself as you progress, as you improve. That way, you will be reminded of, because without doing it, you think of how far you have to go. But if you have pictures of your progress, you will see how far you have already come. Right? So that could be like how nagawa natin siyang email just from a half filled glass. Okay? So that's what I mean by surroundings and how you could connect everything with your topic. Is that clear? All right. Cool. Sige. So we'll be moving on to the next topic. Okay. All right. So next question is, what's your usual process for writing emails? Okay. So let me zoom this in. Okay. What's your usual process when creating emails? Okay. Basically, there are 3 parts. Okay. So there is the pre-writing, okay, before ka magsulat, the writing proper, and post-writing. Okay. So with pre-writing, let's start with that first. Before even writing, I already days before I already try to fill in my idea bank. Okay, I personally use Evernote, and for the past 3 days, I've been challenging myself to come up with 10 ideas every day. Not necessarily it's not necessarily gonna be used immediately, but ipon lang siya. Okay? So it's difficult to write emails under duress. Okay? It's always a good idea to have inspiration waiting on the wings rather than being plucked out of thin air. Okay? So it's always better to have a data bank, okay, that you could rely on. Okay? Next is just a word though. Before, siguro we could reserve the questions for later, after the one sent ahead of time. Because chances are, if you post it right now, I will probably miss it. Okay, because I have to scroll up. Okay, please reserve it when I give you the cue to post your questions. Okay, thank you. So next is identify, before you even write the email, identify one clear objective for your email. So as much as possible, don't put multiple calls to action because it will water down the power of your email. Okay? So think about, I'm not sure of how many of you are familiar with Dragon Ball, no? So Dragon Ball, they have this, yung finisher nila, yung Meha Wave, which is basically, it's like, nag-iipon ka ng power, then you put it in one big blast. Okay? If you put multiple calls to action, it's like yung one big blast na yon, kinakalat mo to two hands to, right? Instead of one big blast through using both of your hands, parang kinakalat mo in two hands, nawa-water down, humihina. Okay? So as much as possible, use just one call to action. And you have to decide on that before you even write the email. Okay? All right. See na, yung mga lalaki nagko-comment about Dragon Ball, okay? so next, so those are the things, no? Usually I don't start from scratch. I try to have email ideas already prepared, okay? And from there, I decide on what call to action to use. The next, the writing proper. Okay, so usually I try to include these four parts. Okay, I'll paste them here. So I try to outline them as much as possible, especially when I'm starting from scratch, so that I don't see a blank screen. Okay, so I put them in so that meron na akong framework to work on. Okay, I usually have an opening, a bridge, the lesson, and a call to action. So opening, which is basically the opening line. So I mentioned earlier, it could be a trivia, right? It could be some sound effects just to make people interested, or just go directly to your story. Okay. The bridge is a transition between your story and the point you want to come to make. Okay. So earlier we made an example about the glass being half full or half empty. So that's the opening. Okay. Then the bridge is the fact that people sometimes don't see themselves, their progress. They don't see their progress, but they're jealous of others because they see things as half glass empty. So do natin kinonect yung yoga and the water. Then we could transition into the point, the lesson, which is to take pictures as you progress so that you can see how far you've come along, not just how far you have to go, so that you have a better appreciation of where you're at and you have a security. Diba? So, hindi ka maingit sa ibang tao. All right? And you have a call to action at the end to whatever you want to do, whether to ask them to read your blog, to buy your ebook, to enroll in class, right? So on and so forth. Okay? So that's the writing proper. Okay? And the thing is, you don't have to do this chronologically. Okay? If you know already what your call to action is, you could start with the call to action. Okay? Or if you know your bridge already, you know the transition, you could start with that. Okay? So it doesn't have to be in that sequence. Start with what's easier for you so that it's easier for you to fill in the blank. All right? Cool. Then lastly, the post writing. So after you've written the email, what will you do? Well, recently, what I've been doing is to let it ripe. Pinapahinog ko. Okay? Lately, I'm trying to avoid writing emails in the morning and sending it in the afternoon. Right? So I try to let it ripe. Parang wine, di ba? I let it age. So usually I would write a rough draft the day before, then let it rest for some time before sending it. I try to look at it again with fresh eyes. Okay? So that you will have time to tweak it, to see it as like a first timer would see it instead of the one writing it. So it allows me to refine it and tighten it up. Okay? So next, what I do is to proofread, look for grammatical errors na minsan hindi ko pa rin nahahanap. Okay? Areas where you can make the wording more vivid, even add humor. So recently, Anne commented sa Email Marketing Philippines about my choice of words. So I mentioned that for a specific reason, I was seduced by information products. So that caught her attention. Instead of using attracted, right? I used to do something more powerful. And that was a product of being able to walk away and come back. That's why I was able to tweak that word to make it more vivid and powerful. Okay? And it allowed me to tighten up my copy. So nagbawas din ako ng text doon. I made it a shorter email. Okay? And lastly, of course, testing. It's one thing to write it on a text document. It's another thing to have it sent to another person's inbox. So always send a test email to yourself. See how the formatting looks. Does the picture load? Have you sent the right link? So madami beses na nangyari sa akin yun that when people click on the link, it's the wrong link or kulang ng letter, a link to another page that was not meant to be sent to. So those are the things you need to be wary of. Okay? Cool. All right. I can relate, Violeta. All right. So, is that good? Everything so far so good? Can you type in good sa chat box before we move forward to product launches? All right. Great. So, next. This is a very interesting question. There you go. How do you sell even if there's no product yet? Okay, so kinopy-paste ko to from I wasn't able to write the name of the one asking the question, but how do you sell even if there's no product yet? Okay, so I took this question as pre-selling. Okay, how do you pre-sell a product? So here are the steps that I lined up. Okay, so I'll paste this here para makasunod kayo dito. Okay, so there are 3 steps. Basically, identify a potential product. So I'm assuming that she doesn't have a product yet, but she wants to pre-sell it before creating it. Okay, so that's the context. So 3 steps: identify a potential product, potential pa lang. Okay, test the temperature. That's the second step. And third is to actually pre-sell it. Okay, let's start with identify a potential product. So what you have to do is first is to find a problem, okay? Because the hardest people to sell to are those who are already contented. So let's find people who are looking for a solution, okay? So any one of you who have watched the Avatar movie, the one where they're parang 7 feet tall, blue all over. Sai, watch it. Barbie, Jazz, Job. Oh, hi, Job. Carlo. All right. So remember, di ba, when they're gonna ride the flying creatures, they connect their hair. I'm not sure. Sorry for my ignorance, no. But they're gonna connect their hair to the animal, right? Yeah. Let's just say animal. Okay. You would connect with them, di ba? So that you could fly together. Parang that's the way you bond. So your customers are like the avatars who are looking for somewhere to attach their hair. Kumbaga ganon. So kumbaga they have a problem, they're looking for a solution para ma-connect nila yung buhok nila. Okay? So if a guy is totally contented, they're not looking for anything, diba? It's hard for them to sell. But if you can sell them an animal for them to connect with, right? That's an easier thing to do. Okay? So that might be a bad analogy, but I hope you got something about out of that. No? So find the problem first. Basically, ganon. Hanap ka ng tao may problema. Then identify that problem and write a sales page solving that problem. Okay, write a sales page. So yes, if you're asking, will I write a sales page na wala pa akong product? That is actually what old school copywriters advocate doing. Because what if you created the product, created a sales page, and ayaw pa ng tao? You wasted so much time, effort, and money for something that's a big flop. So it's best to write a sales page first, let people read it, and if they tell you, how can I buy that? That's the time when you create the product. Because you know that you are connecting to something inside people's brains and hearts that make them want to pay for you. Okay? Now, be careful here, no? Because be careful with the feedback that you get from your writing. All right? So if you show your sales letter to your potential audience and they said na, wow, it's well written. You know what that is? That's the kiss of death. Okay? That's what they call the kiss of death. Because it's like they're politely telling you that that's not good enough for me to buy. Okay? Right. Tama si Carlos. So what they should say is, how can I buy that? Okay? So that's your real test. Okay? So if you have a problem, try to write a sales letter to sell a solution even before you create it. Okay. A tip here is you could start with writing bullet points. So if you know their problem, sulat ka ng isang bullet point to answer that problem. Then you could start with that. That's an easier way to do that. Okay. Then test out potential product names. So you could do a survey in a Facebook group. Kasi we never really know. We have an idea of what will appeal to people, what product name will appeal to them. But until we test it, okay, it's hard to get validation. But once you get that validated idea from your market, that could be your headline, right? That could be a headline, or that could be your attention grabber for them to read the rest of your sales page. Okay? So that's step one. Okay? Step two is test the temperature. Test the temperature. Meaning, if you have an email list, you could make an announcement that I plan on creating this course, this ebook, this training, so on and so forth, about this topic that addresses these problems. Okay? So we're testing out how interested are people for this. Okay? Then when you announce that, then tell them if you're interested, okay, sign up to my waiting list. So you'll be the first one to be informed when it comes out, right? Or when we start selling it. Because you might want to pre-sell it first before launching the actual product. Okay? So at this point, if what everything you've done, then people aren't interested, they're not signing up for your waiting list, there might be a problem with your offer. Okay? So at least at this stage, you already find out before creating the product. Okay? If there's not a lot of people signing up, you might try to do some interviews, ask them what they want to see inside the product, and you can tweak the offer and announce it again. Okay? Then last step, of course, is to pre-sell it. Pre-sell meaning you'll actually ask for money for a product that's not yet created, technically. Okay? So similar to a concert, right? You buy the tickets first, usually ahead of time, before the artist comes here to perform. It's similar to that in the sense that the product hasn't been created because it's going to happen live, but you're already selling it. And people also pre-sell Avenger movie tickets, right? So that's the idea behind it. By doing this, if people actually paid money for a product that they're basically paying you for air, okay? You haven't done anything yet. They're paying you for the promise of creating the product, okay? So, of course, give them the proper expectation when you will deliver the product, okay? So that is basically how you sell a 20,000 foot view on how you sell a product. You sell anything, even if it's not yet existing, okay? All right. Is that clear, guys? So we'll move on to the next topic. All right. So let's move to how long is open cart. So this is a pretty short discussion. There's really no hard and fast rule. Walang isang sagot lang dito. But generally, what I found personally in my launches and when I join affiliate launches, generally between 5 to 7 calendar days is usually enough. Okay, 5 to 7 calendar days. It's not too long that people already forget that you're launching or that they get tired of your launch right away. But it's not too short as well that it gives you time to build your case, to provide your proof, to provide testimonials, to provide demonstration. It gives you enough leeway for you to do that. Okay, so I would say 5 to 7 calendar days would be a safe window to open your cart. All right. The next is, how do you excite audience about your product? Okay, so this is a very interesting question. Let me, yeah. How do you excite audience about your product? Well, the short answer is you don't. Okay, you don't. You actually excite them with the transformation that your product offers. All right. So if you're doing the pre-sale and you want to drum up excitement, you don't necessarily talk about the product. They don't really actually care about your product name at this point. What you can share are stories, right? Stories such as case studies. You can talk about the story of someone who went through a struggle, um, failed at a lot of things, discovered a solution, right? But the story arc, then experience success, okay? And you can, that's when people get involved. And it is, of course, a story that people want to listen to. Or kumbaga yung transformation na gagawin ng story, ng character mo sa story, ideally real life, either your student or just a real life story that will capture their imagination. And you can tell them that the reason he or she succeeded was because of your product or a specific technique that you taught in your product. Now, if you want to learn more about that and replicate its success, watch out for my next email. Parang ganyan. Okay, so that's how you slowly gather their attention, get their attention, and bring a little bit of excitement before your launch. Okay, we want to get more eyeballs to get them excited. It's really the transformation that people are looking for, so not just the product per se. As an offshoot of that excitement, they will be excited to find out the solution. Okay, but not for the product per se. Okay, is that clear, guys? All right, nodding. Cool. Thanks. Let me get 3 more responses, but I'm sure na everyone's clear on that. Thanks, Barbie, Jazz. Let's get 3 more. Jocelyn and all right. Yeah, let's get involved para ano. Hi, Realina. Nice to see you again dito. Tukayo, Alan. I replied to your email earlier. Thanks for responding. So next is, it's not too clear for me. So I will just make some important assumptions. Okay. So she was asking, what are the launch strategies and which applies to which product? What is the most effective based on your experience? Okay. So I'm not entirely sure what she's asking. Okay. So I don't want to make a lot of assumptions, but here's something that's pretty safe. Okay. That I would assume that to answer this question, it's the pricing. Okay. Yun na lang yung ibe-basean ko. So what is the best combination siguro of messaging for you to sell a product? So for example, low price, what does it require you to sell that? So sa akin, in my experience, low price products, they can sell it easily with emails alone, email launches. I've even sold mid-price to a little bit on higher tier based lang sa emails. So that would be a good option, okay, if you want to sell low ticket items. If you want to have something mid-price, okay, a good bet would be emails with combination of webinars and video series, okay, because a combination of the medium can really help do the heavy lifting, especially if you have a webinar where you have a portion where people can ask questions, because each question you answer, diba, that's another objection that's being shot down. And one person asking that, chances are he's not the only one who's asking that. So when you answer one question, you're actually answering several people's objection. That's why it helps in converting mid-priced products, mid-price to higher priced products. Because when you see a sales letter, it's really just a one-way conversation. The one writing the sales letter needs to think of all the possible objections that will come up and write everything to the sales letter. So kaya nga minsan super haba na niya, di ba? So in that case, what if there's an objection that he haven't thought of, right? There's no way for him to address that unless they proactively ask you that objection. So that's what the webinar can help you with. Okay, if you have things that you haven't addressed, there's a second chance for you to address those objections. Okay, same with a video series. In this, not directly, but in a video series, as you probably have noticed, at the below the videos there are comments, right? And people can ask questions there. And if you can see questions there, that's where you can address those objections, or you can get those questions and answer them via email through an FAQ. Okay, so the higher touch points, the more personal touch. Okay, we are through videos and through webinar, we are mimicking the one-on-one or the personal, kumbaga, I'm sorry, the in-person experience of having your questions answered, right? And seeing the product demonstrated in another medium. Of course, it's more vivid, and you see it on video compared to in words, right? And with higher prices, you tend to need to have more mediums to make your case, okay? And if high price naman, high price, okay, high ticket, usually on top of those, you also have support, right? What I notice is when people offer like $2,000 products, they have on their site a live chat support. Okay, they hire people to answer people's objections real time. Okay, they would do Facebook lives, especially during the launch period, so that people can see them live. Na this is a real person, diba? Ideally, you want to come across as not a scammer, right? That's why you want to go live. So people are more comfortable buying from people they trust and they can see. They're not just a name in an email. So especially with higher ticket items where there's a lot of stake, because if someone buys a $2,000 product, that means that's money that's going to be taken away from an outing, a dinner out, right? So malaki ang kapalit noon, lalo na pag sa asawa mo, lagot ka. So you better be able to justify it. Okay? So, and also sometimes that's a way for spouses, okay, to invite their or husbands or wives to invite their spouse to watch together para ma-convince pareho. I've known some of my marketer friends who show mga sales video to their spouses para sila mismo they could form a decision on their own. All right? Cool. Hi, Rexel. Julie. Kay Julie natawa si Julie dito. Okay. So is that clear? Clear naman before we move on to the next topic. So we're going to be leaving your product launch, okay, and be moving to automation. Okay. Jocelyn, thank you. Let's get 4 more people to say yes before you move on. Judy, Violetta, Carla. All right. Eliza. Hi, Eliza. Yun. Okay. So, this is a 2-part question. Oh, may linyang lumalabas na pula. Let me erase that. All right. So, next question. Thanks, Mel. Glad you are. So, this is a 2-part question. So, sabay ko yung pagsagot sa kanya, no? This is actually 2 questions. Mm-hmm. All right. So, this is the first question. This is the second one. So, I'll answer them together. So, I'll try to answer this without speaking Tagalog because this is asked by Tash Stewart. So, I'll give her the courtesy of answering this in English. Okay. So this is Tash's question. How many weeks long is your initial email automation and what does it consist of? All right. Then her second question is, which is related, after however many initial email automations you put people through, do you bring your new subscribers to the same place in your email marketing as everyone else. Okay, so basically 2 parts. Her question is, how long, right, should your email automation be? And after they go through that, where will they go? Okay, basically that, in essence, that's the question. Okay, so I'd like to answer it this way. Okay, I want to step back first in order to answer this question. I want to step back. So one of the things that I find challenging for, especially for people beginning, is the proliferation of a lot of automation experts funnels that promise so much results that it seduces people to think that they have to have like super complicated funnels to start. Okay, so I'm not saying that they don't work. I am actually working on my own funnels, but it's not something that I think everyone should start off with. You could actually, building a sequence more in a more practical sense, in a more practical sense, especially if you don't hire your own copywriter, is really built gradually over time. Okay, it's really like a TV series that you watch on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, little at a time. And instead of a one mega movie, like a 3-hour mega movie, where the equivalent is having all your automations lined up, like 150 emails pre-written and waiting to be inserted into an email autoresponder. It hardly ever happens. Okay, it's usually one email at a time, and it builds up over time. Okay, so having said that, okay, I would like to show you a good, better, best approach. Of course, some of my Hit Send Get Paid students have probably heard this already. I will tweak some of the terminology based on what Tash used, okay? Okay, so a good would be, for me, it's always great to start building your list early, okay? It takes time to build that, so I would rather have you start even if you don't have any automation yet. So a good way to start off would be to have people subscribe and send broadcast emails. Broadcast meaning that could be daily emails, weekly emails. These are emails that perhaps are not yet part of an automation, but at least you're starting to build a relationship with your audience. Okay? So that's a good way. And a lot of people are doing well without any automation at all, just doing broadcast emails. So that in itself is a good sound business model um, by itself. Okay, so doing opt-ins and broadcast emails, that's a sound business model. That's a simple, sound, and profitable business model. Now, of course, we go into this business because we want to have that, at least to a certain level, to a certain extent, passive income. Okay, so there's no 100% passive income, but at least if you have automation, right? Even if you don't write an email today or the next week, you have email sending being sent to your prospects. Okay, so that's where the better comes in. You have automated emails in between. Upon their subscription, you have automated emails, then broadcast emails. Now, the question is, with the automated emails, what do you send? Okay, so Tasha's question was really quite long because she mentioned a lot of tripwire funnels, nurturing sequences, so on and so forth. What I would suggest is focus on one sequence first. Think of this as Lego blocks. Okay, if you create a sequence, for example, a tripwire sequence, focus on that and make that convert first. Now, this is key. Okay, this is key. You only automate a sequence if you have already proven you have been able to proven that it converts. Okay, once the sequence converts, that's the only time you automate it. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So if you use these emails as a broadcast email, you send this daily emails, for example, and this sequence in particular converts, converts prospects into sales, to be clear. That's the time when you want to automate that because it's proven to sell. Okay, you don't want to write emails for the sake of writing emails, for the sake that you have an automation in place. Okay, because if there's an automation, they've been getting emails and it's not converting, what's the point? Okay, so we better be careful with that. Okay, don't automate a sequence that's not converting or you're not yet happy with. Okay, so that's the point, of course. Of course, if the reason of the automation is just to welcome them to your world, you don't really have to prove that it converts. If it's just to tell them these are the next 5 emails will be my 5 best blog posts, that's fine. But if you aim for it to convert prospects to customers, you have to test it out in your real life first before you convert that into automation, because otherwise you'll just automate the failure of your sequence to convert, right? I hope that was clear. Okay, so cool. So next one is, of course, the best would be what Tash is pointing to, okay, which is they subscribe. Okay, you have multiple sequences that would sell them different products. Okay, and after going through all those sequences, they will end up in an email list where, kumbaga, in this case, they've already graduated, quote unquote, from your email sequences, and you put them in a separate list called broadcast list, meaning these people won't receive any more automations. They will be getting your, for example, daily emails from now on. Okay, the reason we want to do this is that we don't want to send daily emails to people who are still getting automated emails, because it will be a duplicate and people might get annoyed. Okay, so it is only after they go through your automated sequence where you will send them to a broadcast list. Okay, now it doesn't mean that once they're in the broadcast list that they won't ever be put under an automation. Okay, in the future they can still be part of it, but for now, at least the purpose of that is for you to identify who are the people who has finished the automation, whom it is already safe for you to send out the broadcast emails. Safe in the sense that they won't receive any duplicates anymore. Okay, so I hope that was clear. Okay, hi Jeff. Just to remind, please hold any questions after we finish with the advanced questions that was sent. Okay, because I might miss them later on. I'm doing this alone, though, so I don't have the capacity to scroll and save the questions while I'm discussing. Okay, so let's ask that later on. Okay, thanks. So next is, her last question is, how many separate automations do you have? Meaning, how many niches do you target, and would this mean your automated email marketing series are super specific? So we could attack this in different ways. Okay, so my understanding here, there are 2 ways. Okay, so one, she might mean that she has multiple products in different niches. Okay, so in this case, of course, you have to separate the sequences for each product, because the problem it solves is different, the person whom you're talking to is different, and the product you're selling is totally different. Okay, so for example, Pat Flynn, for example, of Smart Passive Income, he has different categories on his site. He has email marketing, he has podcasting, he has blogging. Of course, if he has different products for each one, different email, you'll have different email sequences. Okay, now, having said that, if you're a beginner, you'd want to focus on just one thing at a time. Okay, don't tackle several products simultaneously. I remember a good friend of mine, J3 Patino, during one of our calls, he mentioned that the way he manages things, if he has 3 simultaneous tasks, 3 projects he wants to do, he will finish one thing completely and put the next 2 on hold. Why? What's the reason behind that? Why not divide your day into 3, okay, so that you could be working on 3 of them at the same time? He gave a very interesting point. He told us that because if you focus on just one thing, say you have 3 months to finish everything, okay, he would rather use the first month and just do one task. Why? Because if he finishes that one task, for example, that one funnel, when he starts working on the second one, that first one is already making money for him, right? It's already making money for him. Instead of doing three things simultaneously, it will take you the full 3 months before before any of the three would be running. Ideally, three of them would be running on the third month, but that's a full 90 days where you're not generating income, right? So if you plan on doing segmentation or offer different products, it's best to focus at one thing at a time. Because here's the other benefit. Once you go through an entire process, you will understand what works, what doesn't. You can duplicate that in your next project, and that will be much more efficient, right? And the third one is going to be much easier, so on and so forth. All right? Cool, cool. So the second way we can counter this, we can approach this is one product, multiple markets, okay? One product, multiple markets. So for example, an Apple computer, okay, it can be offered to entrepreneurs, artists, students, right? What I would suggest, if you're gonna segment them, okay, if you want to have separate messages for entrepreneurs, artists, students selling the same product, what I would suggest is do one sequence first that targets all three. Of course, it's not super specific. It's not super specific. It's not highly targeted, but you might want to talk to them in a way that with issues that are shared among the three, okay? Because it's not really practical right away to create segmentation, because what do we need to do? We need to prove that it converts first, okay? Segmentation, from my experience now, from what I see, it's really an optimization of your existing funnel. It's not really the first step, okay? I hope that's clear now. I would start with something simple first, okay? Targeting all three of these markets. Then later on, that's when I start tweaking. Maybe I give a separate sequence for entrepreneurs, artists, and students. And yesterday I had a call now with Brian Casigena. He's the head email copywriter for Mind Valley. And he told me, when you segment, when you customize emails, you don't really customize the entire email. For example, when I have emails for entrepreneurs, artists, and students, I don't tweak the entire sequence. I just tweak the opening line, right? To suit artists, to suit students, to suit entrepreneurs. Change up some of the case studies, change up the call to action. Those are really the things you need to tweak, not the entire sequence, okay? So you don't have to feel overwhelmed when doing your segmentation, okay? Okay, so that I hope that helps you out, Tash. If you have any more questions, though, just follow. You can message me directly or in the groups. Okay. So now we're gonna dive into the, kumbaga, quote unquote, the others. Okay, those who don't fall under a certain category. Okay. All right. So let's go. What advice would you give? What advice would you give to someone who doesn't know how to use an ESP of any kind? So ESP here, it's not yung parang third eye level na ESP. So it's email service provider. Okay. So I'm not entirely sure what the question is. So what advice would you give to someone who doesn't know? But I would assume, sorry, let me just clarify. Okay. I would just like to, I'm thinking that these are people who see like Aweber Active Campaign for the first time and are overwhelmed, okay, with how to use it. Now, it reminds me of the book, The One Thing, okay? Just find the one thing that when done properly will make everything else easier or unnecessary, okay? And in terms of technology for your online business, this is it for you, okay? Basically, using your email service provider is the one thing in your business that will give you the best success. So the one advice I would like to give is everything can be learned. Okay, everything can be learned. At the very least, of course, sometimes it can be overwhelming when you start with a new technology, then there's so much functionality. At the very least, study how broadcast emails work, yung mga one-off emails, then how to create an automated sequence, okay? Which is basically just broadcast emails on a loop, okay? Na paulit-ulit sinesend out. So those are the first two things that you need to study, okay? There's really no way around it, and it's impractical to outsource this, especially if you're starting out, okay? So put away Facebook, put away other social media platforms. This is what you need to study first. Study this well, and your work in those social media platforms will be much easier. Okay, so that's that. The next question is, image or no image? What makes an email convert better? Okay, so is does anyone else have this question in mind? Have you, any one of you, wondered when to use an image, when not to use it? Can you type in yes dito sa chat box if you encountered this problem, or no if you haven't? Jocelyn, how about the others? I don't see the image. Judy, yes. Wait, April, hi April. When to use image, no image, no image. J3, hi. Yes. All right. Dito pala si J3, kinote ko pa siya. Send my picture when it's up email. Romel sometimes. All right. So basically, I actually asked this as well, okay, Brian, okay, just to get his viewpoint. So I have my own opinion. Personally, I say more 80% and above of my emails don't contain images. Okay. The reason being is that, according to Gary Halbert, right? When we receive mail from a postman, we segregate our mail, di ba? Ito, actually, even at this time, we don't really actually get any personal physical mail na eh. But you do segregate your mail from ito mga promotion. These are the things that I will read. Ito mga to, tatapon ko na. So that's what they call the A pile as in PILE, and the B pile. The B pile are all the promotional materials that he's not going to read, tatapon lang niya. The A pile, in his concept, are the ones that are sent to him personally, that he will read. And usually, with personal letters, as in physical letters, it rarely has any photos. It's usually just purely text, right? It's purely text. So that's the concept that he carries over when it comes to email, to direct marketing. Okay, so the reason I don't include a lot of photos actually is when we send out emails, business or sa kakilala natin, we rarely include email within the text, maybe as an attachment, yes. But usually when we see a clean email, just purely text, it's usually sent by someone we know. Okay, so that's the concept behind it. But there are times that they are needed to give your story that extra right? Extra oomph. So when you drop images from time to time, it will give you a boost. Napansin ko rin to, it will give you a boost in terms of clicks. So a well-placed image plus a combination. If you're going to do image, you can also do a button. Napansin ko when I do the button and image from time to time, it gives me an extra boost in clicks. Okay, I wouldn't say in conversions as in sales, but in clicks. Okay, that's what I noticed. And one thing you want to be careful of is when you add images, make sure there are a lot of text as well in the email, not just like 2 lines of text and all images. I believe that will get you into the spam box. Okay, so just enough, maybe a good ratio. I can't really say how many words, but you can tell in an eye test how if there's too much images. So I usually don't exceed 2 images as much as I can. Okay, so the times I use an image is when I want to give a screenshot of an email that was sent to me, because it's one thing to copy paste the actual text, it's another to see the actual email. Or if I went to an experience that I need to share, so I put it there. Otherwise, I stick to text-based. Okay. Having said that, including image doesn't really hurt your emails. Okay. It can give you a boost if you do it from time to time. If you always have a photo, then it defeats the purpose, right? So I usually reserve that for certain emails to give it an extra push. Okay. Cool. So next, I hope that was able to answer your questions. Yeah, the unhappy Father's Day email. Exactly. That's when I use an image as well. So next is, okay, let me do this. What KPI KPI is key performance indicator, if I'm not mistaken. Very corporate, corporate term. What KPI should we look for to determine conversions? Or how do we say that our email converted? Would it be that somebody bought something? Or is it enough that somebody clicked a link or read the email? Okay. So my simple answer is sales only. So that's the ultimate KPI, or the measure whether or not your campaign is effective or not. Okay. It would be more valuable and practical to have one person click your link and buy your product than have a 40% click-through rate and have zero customers, right? So, hindi ka naman mapapakain ng clicks or ng opens. It's really the message, the conversions, the sales that will make your time worth it. Okay? So, actually, we had a conversation about this ni John Pagulayan. I'm sure you know him, about not really looking too much into the open rates, because the open rates, the conversions are actually out of our hands. Okay, so I remember si Ben Settle. Someone mentioned Ben Settle dito, na si Mel. He gave this advice when it comes to planning. So usually, diba, at the start of the year, we have plans for, say, 2018. What are our goals? What he says is that he doesn't write goals based on outcome. So, for example, he doesn't write goals of losing 10 pounds in, say, 90 days, right? What he sets are goals that are actionable for him. So instead of losing 10 pounds in 90 days, I will work out 3 times a week, 60 minutes each every week until say June. So because those things are actionable for him, those are actually things that he can control. Now, whether or not he loses those 10 pounds is another fact, but he doesn't want to focus on that. Okay? Doesn't want to focus on that. Very much the same way we write emails. We want to improve our emails. We want to improve our copy, improve our conversion. That's the thing that we need to focus on. Yung mga open rates, click-through rates, those are secondary stats. Those can gauge your effectiveness. But at the end of the day, it's the sales that matter. Okay? Some of my sales, when I do launches, I would have emails that would say, oh, just super baba ng open rate. Say, sometimes it's at the end of the launch, maybe less than 10% or a little above 10%. But there's a lot of sales there. But at the same time, wala masyadong unsubscribes. Okay? It's just a matter of, there's a lot of metrics out there, but at the end of the day, it's really the sales that matter. And of course, if you see that there's very little unsubscribes, it's just a matter of people are not yet ready to buy at the time, perhaps. Okay? But those who are ready, nakakakonect ka sa kanila. All right? So I hope that was clear. So last question, before we head on to your questions, live questions. We're actually by 5. You can extend for your questions, don't worry. How do you segment your list? Or when is segmenting your list a must? All right? So there are a lot of ways to segment your list, okay? Technology allows us to segment even to the smallest detail, okay? If they click on this link, tag them as so and so and so. Okay, so you could tag them as they like the color red. Okay, then I could send this email to everyone who likes the color red. You could segment until up to that detail. But I would say that the most critical segmentation would be simply having a separate list for your prospect and having a separate list for your buyers. Okay, because your relationship is different when you already have a buyer. Okay, so aside from all of course, when you have a prospect list, you have not because they're not your customers, you don't serve them anymore. Okay, so it's a prospect list, you give value, right? You nurture the relationship, and you help them out. Okay, you're available for them. Okay, the fact that you send out daily emails. Okay, you're always there for them, whether or not they buy from you or not. Now, with the buyer's list, it's all that. Plus, of course, when they buy from you, you send out onboarding emails to help them So to help them consume your product. Okay, this is actually my project right now, trying to create an onboarding procedure for my customers, because hindi lang porket bumili sila sa'yo, end na yun. You have to have a continuous relationship with them. Okay, so you give them free privileges, like they give them first access, special rates, advanced support. Okay, because the one thing that's applicable, not just as online business but also offline, is that the key to for a business to be successful and to be successful not just today but for a long time is repeat business. Okay, even if in our physical store, the key nagbubuhay talaga sa business namin is really repeat business from a small pool of customers. Okay, a small pool of customers who keep coming back. Okay, so that's the key. If you can make your customers happy, repeat business is very likely. Okay? Okay, so that is parang nagpe-preach ako, no? So this is Father Alan. So yeah. So that's those are my thoughts for segmentation. Okay, so at the very least have those. Yung the rest is really a bit more advanced. Not that is siguro a discussion for another time on how we can further segment, but at the very least, that's the segmentation you need to have. Okay, you don't have to complicate it too much. Okay, so that is the final question for those that were sent in advance. So I'll open up the floors. Yung mga nag-question kanina, you could ask them now. Okay, so let me stop the share and go on screen for you guys. All right. So, okay. So if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat box. Aurelio, does it require one email address per email list? Could you clarify? Hindi ko masyado. Sorry. I couldn't quite understand yung question. Right. Habang wala pang question, okay, Barbie. Did anyone, okay naman, sulit ba yung time nyo dito with Ask Me Anything? It's been quite a while since I did my last AMA. So that was, I think, January pa. I'm a bit rusty with the presentation. I hope if you learned anything, could you type in yes, chat box, just to give me an idea if there's something that I need to bring more. Okay, cool. Thanks, Job, Eloisa, Homer. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Lahat yun ng kinento ko, joke lang yun, ha? Huwag niyo i-apply. So, Barbie, how long should it take from pre-selling to launching? So I'm assuming that you're talking about selling it, then the time when you actually deliver the product. It's really up to you. When I did my first pre-sell, it took me siguro 1.5 months before I delivered the product, which is a course that I delivered live through a webinar. So you have to, it really depends on how you, on how, the expectation that you set. Okay? Of course, you don't want it to be too long na baka malimutan or mag-complain yung mga tao. Okay? So sa akin, with the course, I estimated, I included, of course, when I tested out. So binanggit ko, it will be by July. So everyone who bought knew when the launch will be, when the product will be delivered. So for me, there's no really fixed answer, but for me that was 1.5 months. Okay, so yeah, that's a good benchmark for you, since it worked for me and wala naman nag-complain. So I don't think there's a hard and fast rule for that. Okay. All right, Titan, hi. Parang nakita-kita ulit tayo dito from the meetup. Is writing something you really love even before you got into this? So this is a personal question. Not really. I'm a decent writer naman, like for essays sa school, but I wouldn't say I loved it. Tamad din ako so I'd rather listen to people like other great writing, like sa script, when they do dialogues, a TV series. I appreciate great writing, but I'm not really someone who's passionate about writing when I started off. Basketball, yun, oo. Pero hindi mutual Hindi ako minahal ng basketball pabalik. Thanks. Sa isang email provider, one email address po ba can create more than one list? Ang nangyari really is, let's do this. So as the sender, you have your own email address that should be at your own domain. So hindi pwedeng at Gmail, at Yahoo. It has to be like Aurelio at aureliosantiago.com. So as a sender, that's the case. In terms of the list, okay, so you could have multiple lists and people can be on multiple lists. So if you have several lists, it can be on several of your lists. Okay? But depending on your email service provider, oops, someone is sharing a screen. Sorry. Please, I'm sorry. Sino ba nag-share? Sorry, yeah. Okay, I think we're back on. So as the depende sa email service provider, they could count you as if I subscribe to you 10,000 times, depende sa email service provider, they could count me as 10,000 people. But with what I use ActiveCampaign, they only count that person as one. Okay, kahit 10,000 times ka mag-subscribe. So you have to check how the pricing is, the counting sa email service provider. Alan Tokayo, is it good to highlight products features in initial email? This is a bit tricky, but I would say that it is okay to sell your product. For example, on the thank you page, when they opt in on the thank you page, you could offer your product. You could highlight the problem. You should go like to that route na problem, right? You have to, kumbaga, let's put it this way. Di ba ang pagkain sumasarap pag gutom ka? Right? Ang tulog mas masarap pag pagod ka. So, if we put out the features right away, parang hindi pareho yung dating eh. We have to build up yung problem, yung desire, yung pain, para pag hinarap natin yung features, it makes more sense. Parang, it's like yun yung release, di ba? Kung tense na tense ka, pag, kumari, yun nga, pag gutom na gutom ka, tapos pinakain ka, kahit ano lang, mansanas lang, tuwang-tuwa ka, right? So if you build up the challenges, the problem, then that's the time you show your offer. Mas maganda yung conversion mo that way. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. Hi, Donna. Jeff. Rexel. Do you have a step-by-step videos on how to do email marketing? I want to have more knowledge about email marketing. Siguro what particular part of email marketing? Kasi like kung basketball yan, di ba? How to play basketball. There's a lot. May dribbling, may Is there anything in particular that you want to learn about? Is it the step-by-step in terms of the technology, the writing of the emails? So that I plan on doing like some tutorials. I haven't really done quite a bit for some time. So those suggestions are actually something I'm looking at as well. So if you could clarify, Excel now. Julie, accountant. Yes, I'm an accountant by training, not by career, but by training, Judy. And I sold an affiliate product on freelancing. Therefore, my automation worked. Question is, what should be my next email to those who already bought? Offer another ba agad? Good question, and very good. What I would suggest, if you're also of course you're an affiliate, no. If you're also a customer of that product, so you've gone through the same course as they are, I would suggest the key here, especially pag bago sila, is I'm working on it myself. The goal is to make them consume the product and get them results. So what I would focus on is maybe if they bought, put them on a sequence that would remind them, welcome. Okay, thank you very much for joining this program. This is what you can expect, module 1, module 2, module 3, so on and so forth. Join their Facebook group. 2 days later, you could promote the video 1 of module 1, right? What you can learn, this is, in your experience, this was the most powerful one in the series, so on and so forth. So you can focus on them actually consuming the product. So why is this important? So paano yun? The next time you sell something to them, maaalala nila the last time you sold something to them. And if naalala nilang wala nangyari sa kanila nung may inalok ka din, binili nila, wala nangyari, mas maliit ang chances na may bibili sila this time, right? So, if you can, of course, we don't have control whether or not they consume the course or not. But if you give them reminders, so on and so forth, it will at least help them. And at least kung hindi man nila i-consume, they will be reminded that you did help them out along the way. Siyempre, somebody has to, hindi ka naman pwedeng sisihin sa hindi niya pag-consume, di ba? Everybody has to take responsibility. If they see that you're there supporting them, they can expect the same when they buy again from you. All right? So, I hope that was clear, and so, firstly, it's to help them consume the content. Jocelyn, are your choice of words based on what your target market are using or speaking? Yes, that's very important, Jocelyn. No? So, sometimes I would use the word epal. So, yan kasi nakaka-relate mga tao din, di ba? It's important. It's important. Kasi the market is actually in copy, the writing of the copy, it's really 10 to 20% of the conversion. The important thing really is the 70 to 80%, which is the right market. Okay? So, for example, if I say I gave you the perfect answers in all the questions here, but hindi kayo kausap ko. Kausap ko are a bunch of 12-year-olds. Okay? So, maybe sa inyo maganda yung presentation, but sa kanila totally flop. Okay? So the words itself is not as important as who you're talking to. Okay? You can be so-so or even bad at copy, but kung kausap mo yung tamang tao, you can connect with them and you can still convert. Okay? So I hope that was clear. So that's an even bigger factor, yung market. Okay? All right. So any more questions? Michelle, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. May smiley emoji with thumbs up. All right. So, Carlo, if you didn't have a sale on your pre-sale, how would you verify if the problem is the product or your marketing of the product? That's a good question. I would say that dyan din papasok yung, that's why we need to test out the sales page. Okay? Kasi if we have people, I guess in terms of, if you can do it offline and have people test it, so that's a validation of your marketing, okay, and your offer. So, Joris, okay, si Carlo muna, no? How would you verify the problem? So, I think before answering directly your question mo, Carlo, no? That's one of the reasons why I encourage people to start with affiliate marketing if they're totally new, to eliminate this particular question. Kasi if the product is already selling, if hindi ka nakabenta, chances are it's your marketing yung kailangan mag-improve. And once you improve that, okay, nakaka-convert ka na, you have solved your marketing problem. And when you start creating your own product, you know what to apply. Kumbaga, proven na yung marketing mo, yung offer. If you offer your own product and hindi mag-click, mas maliit ang likelihood it's your marketing, chances are it's the offer. So that's the reason I encourage people to start with affiliate marketing so that they could focus on just one skill, which is their selling. Now, in this case, if you don't have a product yet, I would say you first look at the offer before the marketing if it doesn't work. Because an offer that's worded well can sell itself. With your marketing would be just an extra boost to it. Okay? Because if you have the best marketing in the world but crap yung product mo, wala rin mangyari. So I would look at the offer first, okay? Because a great offer with little marketing can still convert. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. Thank you for the question, Carlo. Napaano yung utak ko dito. Joris, how do you filter clients you want to work with? I'm not sure if you're talking about freelancing or product. Could you clarify that, Joris? Because I don't do really a lot of client work, so I'm more focused with products. So if that's about freelancing, I might not be the best person to answer right now. Thanks, Jeff. Alan? We're recording this right now, Alan. So hopefully wala magka-problema with the rendering. So cross our fingers na wala Now we can have the recording, okay? Titan, bro, is this a good, cost-effective model if one wants to do affiliate marketing and sell various products or join several launches? Domain name, lead pages, ESP, or so in terms of pinakasulit to kumbaga minimum viable investment for you to start the business. I'd say, of course, domain name, you need that to send emails. ESP, for sure, you need that. In terms of lead pages, that's not a must. It's a good to have. Even Thrive Themes, I would even lean on Thrive Themes right now in terms of cost effectiveness. Required domain and ESP, important. So, because tama ka nga, ESP has their own landing pages, so you could use that. Or if not, you're doing Facebook ads, you could use the objective na lead generation. So what happens is when they click on your ad, within Facebook, doon na sila magsa-sign up. So they don't have to go outside of Facebook, meaning you don't have to have your own landing page. So domain and ESP would be the most must-haves. Landing page, lead pages, Thrive are good to have and will be important as well, but not necessary if you don't need them. Kumbaga, you can start without it. Okay? All right. As in, all right, literally, si Alan. Okay. Any more questions, guys? So thank you very much. I'm surprised now 40 plus tayo right now at this time. So I just wanted to test out an afternoon time. Baka I might be missing out people kasi usually madalas sa gabi. So there might be people who find it more convenient this time. Right. So cool. So parang kanina si Miss Mirna, Mommy N is here earlier. Was here. I'm not sure if I think she has a question. Mel, how do we maintain good relationship with our new subscribers and those that bought our products aside from offering them freebies? Okay. Well, one is to consistently be there, okay, as much as possible. So I know I preach daily emails, but I myself sometimes I skip as well because when I have a bigger project, I tend to try to batch things, okay? But being there consistently, not just when you're launching, is important. I believe that's my opinion. I talk about this in one of my talks about not treating your list as a booty call. If you're not sure what booty call is, research nyo na lang kasi medyo R18 siya. But you don't message your audience just when you're selling. Kasi it's like may pagka, alam mo yung friend na darating lang mangamusta kapag may kailangan ka. So you don't want to be that. You want to be there constantly. Okay? So whether you're selling something or not, bring value. Even if you're selling, you should bring value. Okay? Then another subtle thing that happens when you're there often is that when people buy from you, ito pala. So if you're only there when you're selling, and if you're done selling, mawawala ka. Okay? Hindi ka na nila maramdaman even sa email. So, nakakatakot din yun kasi hindi ba parang ano yun? Yun yung behavior of a scammer na pag may binibenta sa'yo, nandyan. Pero pag tapos na, wala na. So, hindi siya directly correlated, but there's a parallel in terms of their behavior. So, if you do daily emails, even after you sold things, it sends a subtle sign to your subscribers that this guy will always be here. Okay? Ay, naalala ko before when I was offering yung TRC ni Brother Bono. Personally, I was thinking, weighing the pros and cons. Kasi hindi naman yata mawawala si Brother Bo. Kasi kung magka-problema, alam ko saan siya pupuntahan, which is sa Sunday, every Sunday, doon siya sa PICC. So, that was a small factor in my decision, but it was something that umabot pa ako sa ganong thinking just to make sure I was minimizing my risk. And it's the same way with your audience. If they can see you to be there, to be helping out, and being a real person, it gives them certainty that this is not a scam, this is someone reliable, right? So, na-extend na yung answer ko, but that's basically it, no? So, those who bought your product, I think you could apply what I shared with Anno about consumption, being there, helping them consume the product, and if they have questions, being there for them. So that I think that helps out as well. Okay. Diba, si Jocelyn may bad experience. Mga magte-text lang pag mangutang. Okay. Here's Miss Mirna's question. Thank you, April. How often do you write your emails? What's the best time of the day for you to do it? For me personally, okay. What I'm doing right now, I'm trying to do at least a day ahead so that for tomorrow, I would write the draft today. Tomorrow, I would read it, tighten it up before sending. So this is fairly recent. My usual practice, don't do it, no? Kasi usually the same day ginagawa ko if I don't plan properly. Ideally, I plan them 1 or 2 days ahead. Now, when it comes to launch sequences, I need to answer the next one. No? How often do you write? Okay, what's the best time? I try to experiment. So right now, I send it usually at 4 p.m. Sometimes I try mornings, afternoon. So I just found personally that 4 p.m. has been my sweet spot for my audience per se. But usually, napapansin ko, it takes really a couple of days to reach your maximum open rate. So within 24 hours, say, you'll reach mga 80% of your capacity or 70%. When you wait for a couple more days, magulat ka, say, after 1 day, 15%. After mga 2 days, nasa 20 ka na, 21. So that would be the max. So it just tells you that it takes usually a couple of days before people to read your emails. So if you don't want to do daily emails, you could space them like 2 to 3 days apart. Kasi you can wait until the maximum you open mo before you send the next one. So that's just something to consider. So yeah, yun yung sagot ko. If launches naman, I usually spend a lot more time with them. Kasi with launches, especially if I'm gonna reopen the product, chances are I'm gonna reuse, if not all, at least part of the emails. So I want to make sure I spend extra time doon. Because I'm not writing just an email. I'm writing an asset that I can use again and again. So that's the mentality I want you to think of your emails as well. Okay. Bye, Jocelyn. Sige, launch ka na. All right. You're welcome, Violeta. So, all right. Sige. Any more last takers before we conclude our AMA sessions for today? Going once, going twice. All right. So I guess wala na. So thank you very much, everyone. This has been fun. Okay. So I appreciate your time, your attention, your questions. This has been good practice as well for me kasi I really have the personality for email. So yung live sometimes medyo kapa pa. But yeah, thank you very much for being understanding. And I hope you learned a lot from this session. And let's do it again. Game? All right. So, all right. Sarah, April, Violeta, Arthur, Sai. Cool. So once the replay is ready, I'll send it to you guys again so that you can review and take notes if you miss anything. All right. So thanks a lot, guys. Ano to? Muna tayo. Class picture. Wait. Let me do the gallery view. Sige, para if you don't mind, let's open our cameras. So, hindi lahat yata makikita but I'll name, yan, Carlo, pogi. I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Eloisa, Jov, Judy, Jane, Titan, yan. If you can open your cam para picture lang tayo. Quick lang. April, Rosalinda, Noreen, Elizabeth, Anne. Yan. Dahil pa lang pogit maganda dito, dapat pina-open ko lahat ng cams. Right. How about this? Yan. Alright. So, ganti pa. Si Roan, Jane. Ako, shy type talaga yung iba. Alright. Sige. Sige, kahit half lang tayo. Pwede. Okay. 1. Smile, 1, 2, 3. Okay. One more. Oh, may chikiting tayo dito. Kay Sai. Okay. 1. Let's go. Ayan. 1. Up. internet connection unstable. Teka, tatanggalin ko lang yung sign. Yan. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright. Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Till next time. Keep posting sa EMP and yun lang. Hindi ko na alam sabihin next. So keep posting there and see you there again. Till next time.